Hello, everybody, and welcome to Case Closed. We finally came up with a name. I'm the host, Bobfish. I'm joined by Mr. Jensen, who wrote the review,
Yep.
Stuntman, and myself, who did the appeals, and a
Hey.
new arrival, Notorious Bovine Spongiform Encephalitis, or BSE for short, who is part of our judges
Hello.
panel. Judges panel, for those who don't know, is a couple of the other guys just add a quick score on there, so we get a wider variety of scores. They tend not to go into as much depth, obviously, because it's just a score. So it's why we do this kind of thing, to give a bit more of a personal touch to everything. So, Jensen, you wrote the review. Why don't you start us off?
Yeah.
Why did you choose the score you chose?
Well, I really think they did a great job with the game and nailing what they wanted to do. I mean, the execution isn't always perfect. It's not smooth all the way. You can definitely notice that the budget wasn't, Battlefield 4 type material. Uh, like technically, it's decent enough, but there are some bugs, and the AI is pretty bad. But overall, it is just it's a fun game and it works perfectly. I mean, it's supposed to be a cooperative heist game, and it just succeeds in every regard in that way. So even with frustrating bugs and AI issues.
Speaking of AI issues, I remember one occasion in particular where we'd literally just started, at the time with Toast, we'd literally just started the heist and boom,
Yeah.
somebody spotted him from across the other side of the map instantly.
Yeah, inside the building
Yeah,
and like
the
yeah,
AI
that
can
was
be
and then we just had to restart it.
it does have moments where it just sort of breaks. But it's like you said
Yeah.
though, that the budget, it's clear that they were working on, and it's certainly an increased budget over the first one, but
Mm,
not an enormous
definitely.
one. So considering what they did with it, the other thing that got me, you were talking about the cooperative aspect. This is the first online game I've been to where you've actually needed to cooperate. Not just that it's helped, but if you don't, even on some of the easy earlier ones, you're just not going to make it. You really do need to work together, and that was what really sold it for me. But what about you, Stuntman? What did you make of it?
The thing that actually I noticed just today is if you now look at the weapons and every attachment and upgrade you get is more catered to like low visibility or something like that, and all those upgrades are catered to doing the stealth in other way than just doing it going guns blazing.
Mm,
So and the thing is, the more we play it, the obviously the more bugs we see, and but most of those bugs aren't like in Skyrim. You have funny bugs, or just they make you laugh. They are quite frustrating. And like just today, we played with Jensen a bit, and just the van didn't open the doors,
mm.
and we couldn't get like 10
Mm.
bags, which is quite
Yeah, we just had
frustrating.
to escape. Yeah, after opening the entire banks, all the deposit boxes with the buzz
Oh
saw.
wow,
Yeah, and we got all the bags out and like, nah, the van door don't open, so just escape.
that can be frustrating.
Yeah, that was, I mean, we noticed it like at the end, and we had done everything perfectly. It was a pro job, so those are the jobs. If you fail them, they go away, but you get an extra reward if you actually finish them, and they're harder, uh, and this one was like sort of like a surprise. You don't know what's in there, if it's gold, cash, deposit boxes. But we just went in, we got the deposit boxes, we opened everyone up, we got a bunch of like extra like gold bars and stuff. So we had a total of $300,000 with us, in addition to the bags. But yeah, the bags we just threw them by the van, and they didn't count.
That's
So
a
it
shame.
was that's actually the first time it's happened, and it happened like just now today. So
After
uh,
the patch.
yeah, actually after the patch, so it might be something with the new patch. I don't know,
It's a
but they
possibility.
are patching it, and they have promised like what 5 DLCs during the coming year. So there is a lot of content incoming, and I think they did like 100 patches or something for Payday, the original one. So they have uh been doing a lot of work with the first one, so they probably will with the second one too. So
Well, it's been a week roughly so far, and it's already been technically patched 3 times because they rolled back the second patch and then reapplied it again today. So they're certainly keeping on top of it. Some people could see that as a bad thing that it's been patched twice in a week, but I see that more as you're keeping up with what. Yeah,
Dedication.
they're paying attention to what's happening, because you were saying about if you play a game long enough, you're going to find a problem with it. It doesn't matter how well put together it is, you'll always find that one thing. And when you're doing playtesting, there's only so much playtesting you can do, especially on a tight budget. So once a game like this is released, so many more people are going to be playing it. They're going to notice those things that just sometimes slip through.
I think the problem with Payday is it's extremely addictive.
Oh,
and
yes.
When you get in, it's very fun, and you want more and more. You want to do the heists, and stuff. And when you play, I don't know, 6-10 hours, and you still can't do one stealth run,
It is enough.
it's just getting on your nerves. Well, yeah, and and those bugs, and you started to notice them. The more you try, and the more wrong it goes, it's just frustrating.
I noticed, though, I commented on this in my appeal, it feels it's quite clearly that they've intended for the stealth to be end game sort of content, level 50 to 60 plus. And as frustrating as that is, it does make a lot of sense. Because you think about it, early on, fighting your way out through the swarm isn't that difficult, through the assault, even, whatever you want to call them, the assault in-game. Fighting your way out through the swarm of police isn't massively difficult, but on Overkill, you need to know how those guns work. You need to know where they're going to come from. You need to know how to take everyone down.
But the point is, fighting your way out is cool for 1-2 hours when you have to grind it through level.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though.
50.
Yeah, but that's the thing, actually, because I've been playing it with some of my friends who are way higher level than me. They are like level 40, 50, like that. I think I'm about to pass 40 now. I'm 39 or something, and we just did the nightclub heist and on Overkill, and we went in. One of our guys had the buzzsaw, so he sawed open the door, so you don't need to get the card. Then the other guy ran up to the safe. He blew it up with the C4. Two of us were standing at the dance floor, and the two other guys upstairs, they lobbed down the bags, and we got 2 bags, and then the other 2 guys got 2 bags, and then we just went out, and we pretty much made it through to the other side of the street before the assault even had the chance to properly start. And I think one cool thing about that is actually that you start by heist will take a long time in the beginning because you won't be able to do it stealthy, you won't be able to do it quickly and effectively. And then after gradually leveling up, heists take shorter, there's less risk, and it parallels to sort of, if you have to play the same mission again over and over and over again for forever, and then it's the same one more or less over and over forever, then you get tired of it. But actually you play them a lot in the beginning, they're long, you get used to them, and then as you level up, they gradually get shorter and shorter, so that each mission will feel less tedious because they are so quick, and you just get in, get out, get the cash. The only one problem I can see with that is that they need to come with new heists relatively soon.
Yeah, they really do.
Bigger heists, like 3, 4, 5, even 7-day heists, so that they will last longer. Because, like I said, the nightclub, even though it was never that hard, it was just a 1-day heist, and it didn't take much more than maybe a half hour in the beginning. But now, when we can do it in 3-4 minutes, then you need some bigger ones. And I mean, there are bigger ones, like Framing Frame is still the third level is. The third day is almost impossible on stealthy. Because
the Framing Frame is as you mentioned, the nightclub, it's still not a stealth run. And last night we played the Framing Frame. We retried the third day.
About 2 hours.
Maybe. Yeah, and and we still couldn't do stealth, and that's mostly due to shoddy AI, and that's just annoying. I mean, when you play stealthily, it's very intense, it's very fun, and failing it is completely fair. But when you can't do it, it's just you feel cheated. That's it.
No, I know, and there are sometimes I shoot a guard with a silencer, and then people in the different floor hear it, and it's like, what the hell? Why do I even have the silencer? So it's there are bugs and stuff like the doors not opening, but those can be fixed. But the problem is the AI, the way it's made, I don't see them fixing it that much. I mean, they can nerf certain things like the vision or the range they can hear and stuff like that, but there are certain things that just I don't see it changing. I don't see them being able to change it because they have to go into the game so much that it would be more than just a patch. I mean, they would have to rewrite code or whatever. And the same goes for the ballistic system that I mentioned. I don't see them fixing that, and it actually is. It for some people it might not mean that much, but for me, I really notice it because when you play a lot of competitive multiplayer games, Counter Strike or Call of Duty, Battlefield, whatever, you really your reflexes are enhanced. You pop out from cover, you take a few pop shots, and then you go back into cover, or maybe you make a run and you time it perfectly. You come around the corner and you're safe. Whereas in Payday 2, oftentimes you time it perfectly, but you end up getting killed anyway because they shoot you through the wall after you pass by it, or when you pop up, they immediately hit you just like that. So it's that is very frustrating to me because especially on Overkill when it is so easy to be taken down, I keep saying to myself like, come on, how did that happen? How did that hit me? And that is probably the most frustrating element of the game right now.
I've seen
The
a
funny
lot of
thing
that.
with the
Sorry.
Go on.
I've seen a lot of that shooting through walls, like you said. You can there can be no one about at all whatsoever, and all of a sudden you start getting pounded, and you're like, well, where's that come from? It's because you've got your back against the wall, and there's a guy the other side of the wall shooting you straight through it.
Yeah, and there's
funny
also
thing-
the people shooting you through bushes and foliage. That's very sort of like early 2000s. I remember Viet Cong was one of my favorite games from the early 2000s, and I love the game. They had co-op and everything, but there the AI, when you turn up the difficulty, they like had godlike aim, and they could hit you from anywhere through bushes and grass, and it was almost impossible to see them. And actually, that is a problem in Payday 2. And
I don't know about you, but the funny thing is I notice myself shooting most of the time just from the hip.
Yeah.
And it seems I'm more accurate that way.
Yeah, I know what you
Well-
mean there. I think maybe it's because you can't see a crosshair, and you've got to guess where it's going to go.
Yeah, but
so
I
you
do
can't
it
see
also-
how inaccurate it is in relation to your crosshair. If you get me, if you had a crosshair in the middle and you fired, you could see that it was 2-3 inches to the left or the right. But without the crosshair, it probably just feels a little bit more accurate.
It feels more natural,
don't know.
certainly.
Yeah,
It feels more
Uh,
organic.
that's one of the things I like about it. There's not a single crosshair in
That
this
is
game,
really
not
nice, actually.
unless you spend the money, and it's not as hard as you think to be able to shoot people without a crosshair.
I mean, once you're a hardcore gamer, PC gamer, you know where the middle of the screen is. You just know it by instinct, pretty much. I mean, I
Yeah.
play single player games. I turn off the crosshair usually if it has an iron sight mode. I just switch off the crosshair because it makes it more immersive. I don't like. I mean, the less HUD, the better
Agreed.
for me.
Yes,
But and I feel we're slamming it pretty hard because these are big issues. But I mean, I gave it a 4 out of 5, and that is because even with these, like again, the AI is bad, but I think actually the way enemies just hit you, they're walking backwards in crouch down a stairway, and they can still keep hitting you in the head over and over and over again. It's like, come on, give me a break. It just feels it feels unnatural. It's very frustrating. But even with that, it is an incredibly enjoyable game.
the thing is, when you started off, you are very excited by all the heist, and you don't notice most of these things. So I think over time, if they don't, add a lot of content, this game is gonna lose value a lot.
Well, they did
But-
say they were
but-
having the 5 DLCs coming in the next year, so that bodes well.
Yeah, but to be fair, they promise a lot for the heists. For Payday 1,
Well, yeah,
the heist.
but I am actually inclined to believe them more now because I mean they are sort of a subsidiary of Starbreeze now, which is a much bigger company, and they do have money. I mean, the fact that just with the pre-orders they got
They were already in
you know,
profit, weren't they?
yeah.
That's the key
It's
thing.
straight profit from now on, and reviews are coming in. They're positive. They're making a lot of money. I mean, it's one of the top-selling games on Steam right now, and it is making a lot of money. So they have enough money, and
For a
that was
good
the
reason.
problem for the
Exactly.
original game.
To put it bluntly, Payday 2 is a better game. The last time around, they were a small studio with very little backing. They promised a lot, couldn't deliver. This time, pretty much, they've delivered on just about everything they promised. The AI is a bit flaky, there are still some bugs, but like we said, there's only so much playtesting you can do, and now it's been released and there are hundreds of thousands of people playing it. They're going to notice a lot more than the 200, however many people it was that they actually hired in. 80 people, could have been as low as few as 20. And how many hours did they really play, and did they experience the whole thing? Sometimes a bug won't show up in an area because it's dependent on something that's happened somewhere else, like on a multi-day heist. Maybe the people that were playtesting it didn't play the multi-day heist. Maybe they only played the first day of it, and some other people played the third day of it. And now we're playing through the entire thing, and we're finding the problems that carry over, like with the framing frame, problems that carry over from the first day to the third. Some people just might not have had the opportunity to experience that until it was released. We just don't know. But the real point is, as critical as we've been, well, we're reviewers, we're supposed to be critical, but it's still a great game, and it's so much fun, especially when you have people that you
playing
like.
with friends.
And sometimes, as much as we said, you think about it, last night we were on that for 2 hours, but we had a lot of fun doing it. It became frustrating, but there were so many things that happened that really should have just raged us out, and we ended up laughing at it because it became fun.
And I mean, just the mere fact that you are raging and you still keep trying speaks to something. You know, if you didn't like it, I mean, I don't remember who said it, but someone once said that basically, you know, when you have people complaining about your game, I think it was one of the original creators of Counter-Strike. When you have people complaining and bitching about your game, going into the internet and hating on your game, that is actually kind of a good thing, because the worst thing you can, as a developer, can experience is that nobody even cares to complain.
Yeah.
Because when you complain about the game, that means you want it to be good, or you want this to be fixed, you want it to be better, you want to keep playing it, even if it has certain issues. So, you know, the fact that we are, you know, we're getting pissed, but we keep playing. We're not just giving up and saying, you know what, screw this, like I did with Citadels. After a while, I was like, you know what, this game is so buggy and so broken, and even if it wasn't broken, it wouldn't be that great. I just give up here. I'm done, you know. So that never happens with Payday 2. I mean, I played the beta for 30 hours when the game came out. Now I've probably logged at least 20, almost 30 hours now too.
We were up until almost 5 o'clock this morning. We started at a little after 12. We said, oh, we'll just do a couple of card runs. We're tired. 3 hours later, that's when we were raging because we've been playing it for so long and we were tired and we were determined to finish. But you just... I think it was Toast that mentioned at one point at the time, and we were like, seriously? We thought we'd been there, well, not that long, let's put it that way. But the thing is, after that, we then went and found out we could do the jewellery store in less than 60 seconds, and when it went pear-shaped at one point, I decided, you know what, the police are corrupt, so I threw the bag at them and tried to bribe them. It didn't work, though.
I wondered when I got up this morning and realised there was no one online.
It's because we don't been up all night.
Was. But, I think one thing, even with all the bugs, and with everything that we might have criticised about it, I think we might be looking at a definite nomination for Game of the Year this year in Payday 2, purely because it's Left 4 Dead with people that shoot back.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, but as a co-op game, just as a co-op game.
You can't play as a single player. If you've got no friends, don't buy this game, basically, because you will hate it. It'll be impossible for a start. Certain missions you will not be able to do. It won't even be fun.
Yeah, well,
you physically will not be able to do it. No one is good enough to complete some of these missions on your own. It's impossible.
Because I mean, Left 4 Dead has you know, a sort of linear story, relatively linear story, where you're going from A to B to C. I mean, you can play it in any order you want, the campaigns, but you're still going from, you know, but the way Payday, it doesn't really have like a story or campaign. I mean, it has these web series and this stuff going around it. So it's more of a universe, really, where you sort of create the scenarios. I mean, it's not like, oh, it's open-ended sandbox, but it opens a lot up to, you know, future heists, giving even more for you to sort of explore and create your own stories, basically, with your friends. And I think that's a pretty cool thing. I mean, the thing about cooperative games is that whereas if you have a competitive game, like, again, Counter-Strike, where the core of it is so good that you can just keep playing. It doesn't even matter. You don't need map packs. It is so good. So thousands of people will just keep playing it forever. Whereas a cooperative game, you need more content. Otherwise, it's not gonna, because you're still just playing against the computer. And once you've won against the computer, then it's not gonna be as exciting the next time, even with different weapon attachments. So it needs more content over time, but it's not really the game's fault. It's just the nature of cooperative games.
Well, speaking of
Yeah.
extra content, to wrap things up, let's have a quick brainstorm. What would everybody like to see added to this? What would we like to see from the DLC? What are we expecting? What are we hoping for?
I would like, not from the DLC,
Well,
but
in
just
general,
from the
yeah.
game, and I would like to see a map selection list and not something, as you have on the whole map, just to make it easier. I mean, it's cool for the start, but when you just play and you want to get into the game faster and you can't see your favorite map or
It'd
something
certainly
like
be
that.
nice to have it as an
it's-
option.
Yeah, it's quite annoying, waiting for 10 minutes for the thing to pop up.
Well, I am
So,
kind
yeah,
of torn about that, actually, just to pitch in real quick, because it's like, yeah, it would be cool to have the list, but at the same time, that's the whole point, that you're not supposed to, okay, there is no 4 stores job now, we have to do something else. It's like, I understand the frustration when you just want to play that as a gamer, but sort of in the universe, it's like, well, this town doesn't have that type of job right now available, so therefore you have to go with something else. I agree, but at the same time, I'm a little bit like, I don't know if I want to change it. I think they should just sort of improve the CrimeNet system a little.
Forces you to play other maps,
Yeah,
doesn't it? Forces you to play other ones that you wouldn't normally play, which is good.
Instead of just grinding.
I'm kind of in the middle about it as well. For now, it's irritating, but like I said,
and it's especially irritating when you are low level and you can't do the higher level heists.
It would certainly be nice to have it as an option. Maybe not immediately, but at the very least have an offline, really simple version of it, so that you can go and practice that specific map and get to know it and just wander around and figure out where everything is. Because actually playing the game, especially if you want to get into the pro stuff, waiting for it to come up can be frustrating when you want to get the practice in, because we found that we sometimes we'd be sat there for half an hour and we just couldn't get that one map that we wanted to do. So it would be nice to have some way of doing it, like maybe a sandbox mod, maybe even add in mod tools to it. They did say they wanted to add in mod tools, allow people to make their own heists. That would be great.
That would be brilliant.
That would be fantastic.
That's what I would like to see.
Steam Workshop.
A big modding community, yeah. Steam Workshop, some sort of open-ended modding community. Something, if people could make their own heists, that'd just be awesome.
The game would last forever like that.
It really would, yeah. And I think it would go down in legend.
I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, well, they did say they wanted to.
I mean, the thing about mods is that if it sucks, the mod tools or whatever, then it's like whatever. But just having it there is good. So yeah, at least some sort of editor would be cool, where you had like in console games where you have certain assets, where you have like, this room, and you can sort of combine rooms or different things to make
your own 3D
from
heists
the core levels.
From single jobs, have them feed into each other.
Yeah,
and
that was one of the good things about Left 4 Dead, wasn't it? The fact that people can make their own campaigns, and that really took off.
And Valve really supported it too. I mean, making some of them official even.
That's what you want from a developer, isn't it? At the end of the day.
I think the closing thought here is what do we want from the developer? We want them to keep supporting the game because it's worth supporting.
Definitely.
That's pretty much what it comes down to. Well, I think that's a great place to call this a day. It's a great game. We just want you to keep supporting it. To everybody else, we want you to keep supporting us, so thank you very much for listening.
Now the hard part. Get down on the ground. Cops closing in.
Oh, whoa! Follow me.
Okay, great. I've got that safe to the vault door.
Shut up and get down.
Cool. On the ground.
Stay down.
Down.
Stay still.
On one knee. Stay where you are.
Stay.
Nice. Now start her up. Good thinking. Force will slow them down.
Stay down.
More cops on the way.
Down in the basement. Be quiet. What I said, stay low. Don't be moving. Stay down, all of you. Old girl, go.
Crowd, get into the vault without the alarms going off.
Hey, down. Somebody gotta restart it.
Most of it is marked anyway. The feds would be all over us. Brace yourselves.